Hi, and welcome to the notebook setup and notes for Unit 1.1. Alright, so let's get started. Remember, you're to have a notebook for this class. If you don't have one yet, that's totally fine. You can skip the first bit of the setup and then take the actual notes on a separate sheet of paper. So for those of you who have the notebook, whether it's a spiral notebook or a composition notebook, first thing you're going to do on the first page of your notebook is set up your table of contents. So that goes on the top. Then you also want to number that as page 1. You need your title and page number because that's how we're going to line them up. And then our first item, which is Unit 1, we're going to write the title of Unit 1 and then the subtitle for Unit 1.1. Okay. So if you need more time to sort of write that down, you can. Unit 1 is Atoms and Nuclear Chemistry, and the subtitle is 1.1 Components and Structure of an Atom. So pause the video now if you need to. After you have this information written down, what you're going to do is you're going to skip this page, you're going to skip another page, you're going to skip another page, so you're going to have 3 pages in total in your hand. You're going to skip those pages. And the next thing you're going to do is set up your title page for Unit 7. So you write the title of not Unit 7, but Unit 1. So write the title for Unit 1. This is page number 7. And then you're going to list the objectives here. So the objectives for Unit 1 are composition and structure of atoms, properties used to characterize and distinguish different types of atoms, atomic representations, nuclear reactions, half-life, and radioactive decay. So you're going to list those here. And then the other thing you're going to have at the bottom is your essential question. Is alchemy a real science? So after you get that written down, you're going to leave this section here blank. And make sure you put the page number. So go ahead and pause the video. Alright, now that you have that all written down, let's go ahead and flip back to the front because we're going to write our page number for the title page for Unit 1. So that Unit 1 started on page 7, so then we just write page 7 here. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm actually not going to write on the back of this page. You can if you want to, so our page numbers may be different because of that for those who write front and back. If you're not going to write front and back, that's okay. Alright, so now we're going to start Unit 1.1, which is Components and Structure of an Atom. And that starts on page 9, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to my table of contents and write down page 9. Okay, cool. So now that I have that written, at the top you want to have the title, Components and Structure of an Atom. Make sure you pause the video whenever you need to get the information copied down. Objectives, to describe the subatomic particles, subatomic particles atoms are made of by their mass, charge, and location in the atom. So again, pause the video if you need to write that down. The next part of this note will be the structure of the atom, and I'll just actually move all this information so you can see it. So what I have here, the structure of an atom, and there are 2 main parts of an atom. The nucleus, small and dense, at the center of the atom, contains protons and neutrons. So I just wrote that key information down. And the second part is the electron cloud, region outside the nucleus, mostly empty space where the fast-moving electrons are located. The other thing I have here is a diagram for the atom. So I'm going to draw arrows to the different locations. So starting with the nucleus, I drew a circle for the nucleus and I colored in purple. Now you don't have to color code this, but I think it is helpful to color code it. Inside the nucleus I drew 1, 2, 3, 4 protons and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 neutrons. Okay, and so let's go ahead and take a moment and label this. So you want to draw an arrow. That's the nucleus. Now after you have your nucleus down, you want to draw 2 rings around outside the nucleus. Now these rings are called orbitals or shells, and they are one way of describing where electrons are in what's called a Bohr model. So this is a Bohr model of beryllium. I'll just move that up a bit so you can see that. Bohr model of beryllium, BERYLLIUM atom. Now, the number of electrons here, I have 2 on the first shell and then 2 separate on the outer shell. So you just want to copy this. If you need more time to copy, make sure you pause the video. And again, you don't have to color code. All right, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to label or outline this as my electron cloud. So that's the electron cloud. So I'm calling it shells and orbitals. That's what the circles or rings are called. But this region that I color coded in green is the electron cloud. Electron cloud essentially is wherever the electrons are. Okay, so don't forget to label this image as a Bohr model of a beryllium atom. And finally, after you have that information down at the top, we are going to, and I'm going to try and zoom in here, create a table where you're going to write down over here the subatomic particles. Okay, so you write down your subatomic particles, proton, neutron, electron, and I also drew them from the diagram, so this is sort of my key for that diagram. Then you'll have a top column for location, so where are they located in the electron cloud or the nucleus. So this is where you're going to have to actually complete the notes on your own. So where are the protons located? Are they located in the electron cloud or the nucleus? So wherever it's located, you write it here. So for example, the protons, they're clearly inside the nucleus, so I would write nucleus here. The next column, you're going to fill out the charges. So is the charge positive, 1, -1, or 0? And that information was in the video. You can also kind of see it from the diagrams as well. I labeled the charges for things that, for the subatomic particles that have charges. So for example, the proton has a plus charge, so that's a +1. And the electrons have a negative charge, so you can figure out which one goes there. So essentially, you're going to choose the correct charge. And then finally, the last column is for the mass. You have 2 choices. It's either going to be 0 AMU, 0 atomic mass units, or 1 AMU. And make sure you write down what an AMU is. And then fill in the appropriate number there. At the very bottom, after you fill out your table, you want to star what an AMU is relative to a gram. So an AMU is a really small unit of mass, right? That's essentially what an AMU is. And it's 1.6 times 10 to the negative 24th of a gram. So you just want to keep that information there. All right, so then after you get all this stuff down and you have filled in this part of the chart on your own using the knowledge you saw in the previous video, you're done. Have a quality day.